is where the final nail of the US dollar's coffin gets hammered in, because BRICS is planning to use gold to make its future currency even more powerful. For the past few years, almost all the BRICS nations have been stockpiling gold.
How concerned are you about the collapse of the US dollar, sir?
It's the end of the dollar system.
Hi everyone, welcome to Token Topics. XRP, BRICS, the death of the petrodollar, and Russian blockchain, and more are the topics. You don't want to miss this. The death of the current dollar as we know it is fast approaching. If you're an XRP fan, you don't want to miss this. Please do hit the like, share, subscribe to stay informed. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in. Before I begin, I would like to tell my listeners and viewers, thank you for being patient with me and understanding. And thank you for all the kind words and the condolences. It really means a lot to me. It really does. Thanks for being patient. I haven't been producing material. I'm sure it's obvious the reason why. There is a lot of work that's involved when somebody passes. I was not only helping to take care of her, that took a lot of time, but also going through all the items and the photos. And the family right now, we're all, sharing photos and getting all that stuff and the items situated. So I just want to, again, so thank you. It's time to move forward. A lot of things are going on with XRP, and I feel like I've been absent. But it's time to get back. It's time to dive back in and get fresh with some material. Now, if you've been subscribed to the channel, you know that I've been talking about the death of the dollar for a long time. And recently I've been seeing that in the community, they're really talking about it now. The birth of the BRICS. I always said that XRP would be used by BRICS. I was called crazy in the past. I said that Russia or these other BRICS nations, they would never even touch XRP. Well, that is not going to be the case. XRP is going to be the ultimate bridge currency throughout the whole world. I believe that it's going to take the bulk of the money flows around the world. And I believe that the petrodollar is dying right before our very eyes. The news is not reporting on it a whole lot. There are some sources that are, but this whole new financial system is about to be transformed into something that is not familiar with us today. The dollar is not going to go away. People say, oh, the dollar's dead. The petrodollar is going to die, and it being the world's reserve currency, that's probably going to die. But the dollar itself will still remain. There's going to be a digital form. They're also talking into papers of still having a fiat form. So it's going to be what it is. It's going to be refaced. It's going to be transformed, but we're still going to have the dollar. But there's going to be multiple reserve currencies, and everything's going on the blockchain. And that's why I believe XRP is going to be the vital bridge between all these blockchains, because they've always, David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse, they always talked about how important interoperability is for the industry. And that's really what it's about. It's not going to be a one-chain world. We've heard this from David Schwartz. We've heard it from Brad Garlinghouse. But there's not going to be all these thousands and thousands of crypto and projects that we see today. There's going to be like a crypto apocalypse, and only a few are going to remain. And we know the main one that's going to rise from the ashes is XRP. We know that. We have confidence in knowing what we hold. Those who have been studying and know the connections and the partnerships and really what Ripple's doing behind the scenes, they are the heartbeat of interledger protocol. They are the heartbeat and going to be the primary, like I said, the primary bridge. So exciting things going on. I want to dive into some of these articles. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, first topic. Let's quickly go over the Ripple lawsuit. So right now we're in a waiting game. Stuart Alderati took to Twitter, and it's something pretty funny. He posted, just released a photo of the SEC's misguided case following 2 years of Ripple's relentless defense. And it shows a picture of the Chinese spy balloon being shot down by the U.S. Air Force. Previously, John Deaton, the founder of Crypto Law, stated that the SEC's arguments were schizophrenic, which that's a good term he used, especially on what constitutes a common enterprise. So in this line, Deaton noted that there is a possibility that the presiding judge could deny summary judgment. So with the case nearing a close, XRP community has followed the matter between the SEC and the blockchain-based sharing platform LBRY or library. In this case, regulatory sued LBRY for offering its LBC tokens. Now, consequently, the value of LBC tokens surged, with legal experts pointing that the same fate might befall XRP if Ripple wins the case. Well, I'm here to tell you that without a doubt, the price of XRP is going to explode once we hear clarity from this case. But here's the issue. Most people are probably going to prematurely sell. That once it goes to like that $3, $5 mark, a lot of people are going to be selling. Now, everybody's situation is different, but I'm going to be selling the majority of my XRP at a much higher price. Now, I'm not talking about those crazy price predictions like, $20,000, $10,000 a coin. I'm talking, if XRP hits even $15 to $20, those are going to be some nice around those ranges to be cashing out. But I'm afraid that too many people are going to be cashing out too early, too soon, and they're going to be missing out on a lot of generational wealth. I would also suggest that why even sell your XRP? Continue to hold it. Live within your means. If you need to shave some off the top, you need to pay for some things. Everybody's situation is different. People are holding different amounts of XRP. Some people have been holding very long. Some people that are older individuals, maybe they don't have a whole lot of time left in their life. Like I explained to you, one of my best friends was my mother. She passed away. She never even had a chance to see this thing explode. And that's something sad that I have to live with. But so everybody's situation is different. If you know what you're doing, you've been in this field for a long time, make sure that you're not selling too prematurely. You always hold a bag for long term, and you're going to do just fine. This library case between the SEC very well does give us an implication of what to expect, and I believe that was a victory for the whole cryptocurrency community as a whole. Deal for the entire cryptocurrency industry as a whole. The SEC settles on security claim and library case. Community calls it a big win for crypto. The SEC was hoping to seek affirmation on an ambiguous injunction after scoring victory during a hearing in November 2022. But judges made it clear that the judgment was only for the direct scale. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission admitted on record that the sale of library tokens in the secondary market doesn't constitute a security. Boom, right there. Now everything is making sense. Everything is falling into place. As we zoom out, we can see a big picture of how this is all unfolding. So we know last year it was a major topic discussed on this channel, was how Russia has developed a blockchain system to replace SWIFT. And just recently, we've gone over the topic on how Russia wants to trade with oil and petro gold, and China with petro yuan. What we're witnessing is the death of the dollar being the world's reserve currency, and also the Western power of transferring that money all around the world. SWIFT was the major vehicle for moving all that money. So let's add this together. So Russia developed its own blockchain system to replace SWIFT. They're dumping the petrodollar because now they're going to be trading in petro gold. China with petro yuan. This is going to weaken the dollar to practically nothing. We're about to see a drastic change and refacing of money. I want to go over this article real quick. So Russia, Rostec Group is a government organization that includes a number of technology companies. They have announced that they developed a blockchain platform to launch a digital system for international payments capable of replacing the global SWIFT system. The digital system of international payments will allow Russia to pay for its imports in its national currency, the ruble, instead of the dollar. According to Rostec Group, the new system will enable foreign currencies to pay for their imports from Russia in their national currencies as well. So that would include, here's the big kicker right here. The platform is designed to be able to provide an integrated system based on distributed ledger technology. So most likely interoperability would include the XRP ledger. So this is by Zero Hedge. Pozar was right. Saudis confirm non-dollar oil trade plans in Davos. So earlier this month, former New York Fed repo guru Zoltan Pozar, he wrote one of his most important reports of 2022 in which he describes how Putin could unleash hell on the Western financial system by demanding that instead of dollars, Russian oil exporters are paid in gold effectively pegging oil to gold and launching the petrogold. I believe that is actually genius, and that is sound right there. So China also had a say. So then China's president visits with Saudi and GCC leaders, mark the birth of the petro yuan. So Russia is launching petro gold and China is launching the petro yuan. So China now claims to have built a special relationship not only with OPEC, but Russia and Iran as well. This is dire right here. And now according to Bloomberg, Saudi Arabia is open to discussions about trade in currencies other than the US dollar, according to the kingdom's finance minister. This is going to put ripple effects throughout the American economy. So it's not referring to that they're not going to use dollars. They will use dollars, but it's not going to be the only currency of choice for trading oil. Now, the reason why this is so important is because it's literally reshaping the way how trade is conducted. And we know for a fact that everything is going on to the blockchain, including oil trade. That data of trades will be stored on distributed ledger technology or DLT technology. It's coming. Let's go ahead and listen to this clip.
The reopening is accelerating faster, I think, than anybody ever presumed. What are the ramifications for the world and for Saudi?
Thank you very much for having me first, and it's good to be in Davos again. I think the world is going through a lot of issues, and energy security is one, geopolitical tensions, inflation, a lot of things that will need really to be attended to, and Davos is one way of really having a dialogue. China is reopening. It is not a surprise. I think they had their zero COVID policy for some time, and now they realize that they need to open, which is good. I think it's good for the world economy to have China. It is good for the supply chain to have China back in action. On the energy side, what we are trying to do is trying to invest as much as we can, both in the conventional energy but on renewable energy, to make sure that the world is supplied with enough energy.
Does their reopening put a floor under the global economy?
I think it helps definitely to support the world economy. The world economy needs that support, and a lot of countries around the world are facing recession, so we need some support.
Where are you most worried about in terms of recession? Because the blowback takes a bit of a time to land on your shoulders in Saudi and mine in the Emirates. Where are you most worried about globally?
I'm worried really about the most vulnerable nations, most vulnerable countries, low-income countries. Their debt vulnerabilities is really, really serious. We are seeing defaults, and we are likely to see even more defaults. And we need to work with multilateral institutions to make sure that we find solutions. And Saudi, during the G20 presidency, put forward the DSSSI and the common framework to help try restructure the low-income countries' debt.
Was there a discussion around paying for oil in yuan? Fill or kill on this rumour?
Okay. Two things. One is we enjoy a very strategic relationship with China, and we enjoy that same strategic relationship with other nations, including the US, and we wanted to develop that with Europe and other countries who are willing and able to work with us to advance the public good in the world.
Yes.
I think with regard to China, they are the largest trading partner with Saudi Arabia. I think there are no issues with discussing how we settle our trade arrangements, whether it is the US dollar, whether it is the euro, whether it is the Saudi riyal or their currency.
There was no discussion on that at all?
I don't think we are waving away or ruling out any discussion that will help improve the trade around the world.
Continues here that it doesn't sound like the Biden administration is high up in the kingdom's strategic planning. And given the comments from the kingdom's finance minister, Zoltan's ominous warning appears ever closer to the reality, dusk for the petrodollar and dawn for the petro yuan. Next, I'd like to say thank you to 801 XRP and also the Bearable Bull. I saw this on his channel. And this ties in exactly what I've been speaking of on this channel for quite some time, about how oil is traded, the petrodollar, the world's reserve currency is currently the US dollar, and that's not going to be lasting, as the dollar is going to be weakening and BRICS currencies are going to be strengthening. So 801 posted that Sam S. Lim at DBS Bank The Saudis' agreement to trade for U.S. oil dollar are a major reason why the dollar is in its position today. By agreeing to use renminbi as of this month has significant implications in the long run.
So let's get into the banking world and some of the cross currents. I talked, as you saw, with Roberto Acevedo about the power of the dollar and being used as a weapon.
Yes.
I think it's great to get value-added assessment and analysis from somebody sitting in Singapore. Do you see the U.S. dollar fading away anytime soon, or the rise of the renminbi at a faster pace than most are expecting? Because we're trying to look at here the near term.
Okay, that's a very good question. Before I answer the question, let me give you sort of a slight preamble to it.
Sure.
When the Roman controlled the roads, they controlled the world. That was called the Roman Empire.
Yes.
When the British controlled the sea, they controlled the world. That was called the British Empire. So the Americans came along and thought if they control air and space, they will control the world. And so they were shocked when Russians sent Sputnik into space in 1957, and they were shocked when Yuri Gagarin went to space in 1961. And then John F. Kennedy retort was that let's put a man on the moon. And actually, because of that race, in 1969, the Apollo 11 landed on the moon. And that was really the start of the third industrial revolution, which was the digital age. Now, I digress a little bit from your question.
Makes sense. I follow you.
But the reason why why today is the American empire is really because of the U.S. dollar. President Nixon, I don't know whether he realized it, when he depacked U.S. dollar from gold, which gave America the ability to print money, it really made America the most powerful nation in the world. You look at QE1, you look at QE2, you look at QE infinity.
I know.
Not billions, not hundreds of billions, the trillions of dollars that's being printed. It's probably backed by the paper it's printed on. So, put simply, it's backed by confidence and confidence alone.
I want to pause right there. He brings up an excellent point. Paper. That's all our money is. He kind of laughed. It's backed by nothing. It's literally just paper. We used to be backed by gold, but that was officially stopped by Richard Nixon. And since then, we've been living fantasy economics. All this money printing, nothing backing it. We've literally created the world's largest bubble. This is why countries around the world have been strategically and surgically trying to replace the dollar as the world's reserve currency to create this new financial system. With today's technology, we now have the ability to return to sound money, to even a gold standard. And now that we have blockchain technology, we can transport, as David Schwartz, the chief technology officer of Ripple, stated himself. With XRP, you can now transport that value, kind of like gold, at the speed of information anywhere around the world, teleport it.
To touch on an earlier point about weaponization, the American weaponizing the U.S. dollar in this as we speak today actually undermine the only thing that's propping up the U.S. dollar. The only thing propping up the U.S. dollar is confidence and confidence alone. And by weaponizing the U.S. dollar, it might be good in the short term, but in the long term, there's tremendous repercussion for the country.
Yeah, so you're not a supporter of it, obviously.
I'm not a supporter of it, yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think of this move by China asking to pay for its oil and gas to Saudi Arabia? What does that tell you about China?
Okay. China has been wanting to do that for a number of years, I think. And the Saudi has never agreed to it until this month, actually. So it's a tremendous, significant decision. And I'll tell you why I say that. Now, you look back in 1971, when the US dollar depacked US dollar from gold. Why would anybody want US dollar? Because right now, we don't know what it's backed by. But the fact that the US dollar is the dominant reserve currency of the world until today is because they have an agreement with the Saudis that oil, a most crucial commodity, is bought and sold in US dollar. By having it, that's why the term petrodollar came about.
Yes.
And because of that, the demand for dollar was always there. And because the demand of the dollar was always there, even when they depacked US dollar from gold, when we know it may not be backed by anything, dollar continued to be a strong reserve currency.
Right.
So this month, the decision by the Saudi government to let oil be sold in renminbi, I think it's a tremendous significant decision. Okay, I don't know whether the Saudis are aware, but by agreeing to the US to trade oil in US dollar, they were probably a major reason why today is the American empire as we know it today. The Saudis have really contributed to the position that the US dollar is in today. And this recent decision to use renminbi, I think, has significant implications in the long run.
Now, I want to show you this clip from Florence Nightingale, but the actual clip is from a YouTube influencer, and I can't remember her name, but I've seen her before. But you've been subscribed to this channel. I've been talking about the BRICS nations for over a year, speaking about how they're returning to a gold. And I believe that the world will eventually, over time, return to a gold standard. But right now, there's like a conflict of interest with the Western entities and what's going on with the rest of the world. So the BRICS nations wants to return to a gold standard, and all this global trade that we're conducting, everything is being reevaluated, refaced, and reshaped. But let's go ahead and listen to this. But if you want to learn more about BRICS and interoperability and how blockchain is going to work with the BRICS nations and the rest of the world, please do subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to stay up to date on that.
The BRICS currency would be intended to become a rival for the euro, pound, and especially the US dollar, and would be adapted collectively by all of the BRICS nations, which collectively account for 40% of the world's population. This would almost immediately make BRICS bucks the most used currency on the planet, meaning the US dollar would be used less and become even weaker. And this is where the final nail of the US dollar's coffin gets hammered in, because BRICS is planning to use gold to make its future currency even more powerful. For the past few years, almost all the BRICS nations have been stockpiling gold.
How concerned are you about the collapse of the US dollar, sir?
It's the end of the dollar system. So the end is near for the US dollar, and my concern is it's going to wipe out stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. Just for my generation, the boomer generation, we're in serious trouble. The reason our stocks, bonds, mutual funds are up is because the Fed and the Treasury just kept printing more and more money.
Ripple is going the extra step to try to help with sustainability and help clean up the planet. So this partnership with BC Biocarbon is impressive. They posted that news alert: BC Biocarbon and Ripple announced a $6.7 million CAD purchase of biochar carbon removal credits. It's partnerships like these with Ripple that are crucial to building necessary momentum, said the CEO of Biocarbon. Let's go ahead and check it out. So a brief rundown: BC Biocarbon corks are derived from the production of biological charcoal, a charcoal-like material that is safe to be reused in a variety of climate-positive ways, including land and water treatment, and helping soils to retain nutrients and water. Biochar has high permanence, making it an effective method of sequestering carbon and storing it for centuries, driving meaningful CO2 reductions critical in the fight against climate change. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to see Ripple involved with such sustainable developments. Now, Ripple just posted this the other day. Hear why MoneyNet uses Ripple solutions to localize payments, making them faster and cheaper for their corporate customers around the world.
I'm Mr. Shai Trif, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of MoneyNet Inc. We're a payment processor. We're just payment processing for clients. We are trying to make life easier for companies who works worldwide, who works in the digital world. We're giving the client of the feeling that he can act worldwide, but with a domestic environment that will help him to build his business much better than he can without our solution. Once we connected to the RippleNet, our options and the variety of solutions that we were able to give our clients are much more enhanced and much more developed. It's very simple. Once we are connected to the Ripple, in one shot, in one API, we can find local solutions worldwide without the efforts and the needs to actually travel worldwide and find local processor, or to put the efforts, because as everyone knows, time is money. Connecting to the Ripple and get one API, one integration to the whole world allow us to recruit and get more clients to our network, hence to increase our revenue. We can see the flow of clients who are coming. We can see the increase of new potential clients that are coming. We can see the increase in revenue. We see a growth scale that for sure comes from the fact that we actually are able to invest less time in getting more solutions of the clients because we are connected to the Ripple. Hence, we can invest more time in getting more clients. the level of support that we are getting from the Ripple team. It's something that is absolutely amazing. The connection with Ripple, using the RippleNet, help us to get an access to markets that we definitely were not there before. We didn't even thought how to start approaching those markets. It looks to us like, come on, we are based in London. How can I offer my services to clients in South America? But they actually made it easy.
Keep your crypto safe with a DCENT biometric wallet. What talks about exchanges going down and cyber attacks, it's smart to keep it on a hardware wallet. Purchase it now through Token Topics and receive a discount. I'm going to put the affiliate links in the description below.